Hey guys, so today we're going to go through some of the key elements in my James Hype Waterfalls remix.
Hold tight, hold tight, hold
So before I did anything else, I just did the BPM from 138 to 140. I then changed the key of the vocal itself to one semitone higher. So this is how it would have sounded originally.
Hold tight, it's about time. We go unwind, let it all flow and give me waterfall.
And this is what we've got now.
Hold tight, it's about time. We go unwind, let it all flow and give me waterfall.
So next we added some notes for the intro. I've actually used the same note multiple times but layered them with different sounds. Here's what some of them sound like. And here we have a more progressive pluck. And some more layering. As you'll notice with a lot of these patterns, I'm not using the full scope of the sound. I'm actually cutting off a lot of the high end and the mids. So if you can see down here, this is what it would sound normally. And this is how it sounds now. And that's to give it a more kind of minimal tone to begin with. We don't want to go into harsh and heavy. We want to get people used to the chord and the progression that's going on and the vocal itself at the beginning.
It's about time. We go unwind, let it all flow and give me waterfalls. Where we go, get in that zone, let it all flow and give me waterfalls.
Okay, so I'll just go through some of the effects, impact and sweeps we've got going on in the intro. So this is what we begin with. And then we've got this little sweep up here, which is actually cut off. So this one in particular is actually a reversed stab. So what I've done here is reverse this sample itself, and I've cut off the end section, so you're just getting the uplifting sweep. And we have some more impacts and sweeps. Okay, so as this intro develops, we've got some hi-hats, a shaker, a super quiet techno kick, and that is pretty much the intro. So moving on to the build-up, we have the pre-build-up vocal with some delay.
Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
So in order to achieve that nice washout effect, we've got this really cool plugin called Endless Smile. So we'll show you what this is doing in real time. Okay, so I think it's super important, especially in dance music, to use washout effects like this before the drop. It definitely gives it this perceived higher impact, even though the volume of the drop is exactly the same. But using these washout effects, it creates space, and once the drop hits, it's perceived to be louder and more impactful than what it is. So before we move on, I actually forgot to show you guys what I did with the vocal in terms of its processing and effects. So I'm just going to play it without any effects and then run through what we've added.
Hold tight, it's about time. We go unwind, let it all flow and give me waterfalls.
and with the effects.
Hold tight, it's about time. We go unwind, let it all flow and give me waterfall.
Okay, so we've added some reverb and some more reverb. We've also added a little bit of distortion. There's this plugin that I really like called Destructor. I believe it's an FL Studio stock plugin. So if you have the All Plugins bundle, you should have this in your arsenal. We've also added an EQ and rolled off some of the low end. Okay, so moving on, let's take a look at the main drop. So we've got a nice big techno kick. Also got the bass layer here. And here we've got the bass assistant layer. And we have the main drop lead, which sounds like this. We also have the lead assist, which is really quiet, but it definitely does add something into the mix. So we didn't need to add too much layering. I think the main lead itself is adding enough to the frequencies we want it to hit in the mix. We also have this vocal stutter layer through the entire drop. So at the very start of the drop, we've actually added an impact, which I've EQ'd and took away all of the low end so that it doesn't interfere with the bass frequency when the kick hits. So halfway through the drop, we have the lead variation, where I've changed the notes from this to this. And yeah, it's a nice little earworm, it keeps the track exciting. So at the end of this drop fill, we've actually got a nice gritty and washout effect just on the last bar here. And for that we're using Infiltrator. And just to make it that much more exciting, we've got these elements here as well, which consist of this sample, which I've chopped up, and also this sample here. So all together, and if we add the main lead, cool. So let's move on to the second part of the drop. We've got pretty much the same going on, apart from we've actually opened up the second main lead, which is this. And it's this little guy here which is doing all the work, which is basically unlocking the entire sound from nothing at the beginning to fully open here. And that's when the second main lead comes in. So in terms of effect, when the second part of the drop hits, we've got a few things going on here. Just before the drop, we have this, Acid Stab, which is actually taken down 200 semitones, so this is how it would sound originally. But the key of the track demanded we knock it down to its desired key. Cool. So when the kick hits, we've got a few more elements here. We've got this sample from Kashmir, the Glitch 05. Okay, and chopped up, we have it sounding like this. And I feel like it just adds that bit more impact when the kick comes back in. We've also added this vocal. We also have this breathing effect as well. And altogether without the kick, it would sound like this. So moving on to the last part of the drop, we've got a few more elements which have been added, and I'll just solo these so you can just hear them on their own. Cool, I've also added some percussion. And together with these new elements here, you'll get this. And on the last part of the drop here, we have all the percussion just going crazy. Cool, let's move on to the breakdown section. So I started off with some of the elements we used in the very beginning, such as this. Nice Reese bass, but this time we've introduced a nice pluck sound which follows the keys. Okay, let's see what effects we've got going on here. So I've got some reverb and some more reverb. So as you can tell, we've got a lot of reverb going on. Without this, it would sound like this. So not much atmosphere going on there. With the reverb, yeah, so it doesn't make for very good atmosphere, hence the shit ton of reverb. So we've also added some stereo imaging and some EQ, where we've rolled off some but not all of the low end. So in the later part of the breakdown, we have this rolling bass line. In this section, it's actually just sticking with the one note, and it doesn't actually change until the later part of the breakdown.
Let it all flow and give me waterfalls where we
also have this really cool TikTok effect. And that is playing throughout the entire breakdown. And then we've got this. So after 16 bars, I added this layer too. Let's play them both together. So I'm just going to solo all of the drums and effects and percussion so you can hear what's going on underneath those key elements and the vocal. Okay, cool. So we're going to unmute the rest of the elements and show you how it sounds all together.
hold tight. It's about time. We go unwind. Let it all flow and give me waterfalls. Where we go, get in that zone. Let it all flow and give me waterfalls. It's about time. We go unwind. Let it all flow and give me waterfalls. Where we go, get in that zone. Let it all flow and give me waterfalls.
Okay, awesome. So that is the key elements of this track. If you want me to dive a little bit deeper, let me know. If you want me to do a part 2 for the second drop, let me know as well. Thanks for watching.
Let it all